Okay, I'd like to call to order the January 22nd meeting of the Sumner City Council and ask that you stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation from Art Spar. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The psalmist wrote, "Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His love endures forever." So, Lord, we do give thanks tonight for this wonderful city, for the mayor and staff, for all the departments that care for us. Lord, we just continue to pray that you'd watch over all of the things that make our city such a livable place. We pray also for our country tonight. Amen.
Thank you, Art. Okay, Michelle, could you please call the roll?
Potato?
Here.
Brown?
Here.
Hayden?
Here.
Hochstetter?
She's absent.
Stewart?
Here.
Peterson?
She's temporarily delayed.
Reed?
Here.
Okay, Councilmember Peterson said that she's running today, so she'll be here, just running a little late, obviously. And then, as you recall, Councilmember Hochstetter informed us at the last meeting that she'd be absent, so I'd entertain a motion to excuse Councilmember Hochstetter from this meeting.
I move we excuse Cindy from today's council meeting.
Okay, can I get a second? Seconded by Councilmember Stewart. Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. And Councilmember Hochstetter is excused. Thank you. And we have a presentation today on the Sumner Senior Center, an update. And if anybody has an agenda, there's two people listed. One is Tina Priest, and the other is Angie Long, who's the program director. Tina is sick, so we're glad that she stayed home as opposed to coming here, but we would ask that Angie, if you could come forward and address the council. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for asking me to be here. And I am the new program director at the Senior Center. I've been there for about 5 weeks now. So I would like to share with you all a little bit about where we've come from. In being new, it's helped me to kind of do some research on this. So this is really great for me to kind of see where we've come from and where we're going. So I want to just share with you some of the exciting things that have happened at the Senior Center since 2013 when we sort of revamped the program there. You should all have a handout, and I first want to address our demographics. Our attendance has continued to climb every year. We see at least 80 people every day in the facility for various programs, activities, and they're all listed there for you. Excuse me. So you can see the attendance is continuing to climb. We had 600 members when we started in 2013, and as of the end of December, we had over 2,200 members. Membership is free, and we just ask everyone to come in and fill out a form. Our members have come from mostly the city of Sumner, as you can see in the next handout, but they do sometimes come from the outlying areas. I did it by zip code, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with all the zip codes, but the second and third most popular ones are the ones that really surround Sumner, and some people may view them as Sumner near Mama Sortini's area and near the old cannery area. So most of our members view themselves as Sumner citizens, if you will. So that's sort of where our membership comes from, mostly the city of Sumner. Our programs, I'm not sure how much details you want, so feel free to ask me any questions on specific programs that we offer. But we do offer a wide variety of programs and activities to try to meet the needs of all of our members who might come in. Exercise classes is probably our number one that people come in for, and then once they come in and find the environment, then they tend to join in other activities like card games or bingo or workshops. We offer educational programs, health and wellness programs, just a variety of things to meet the needs. One of the big things that we do is we travel all over the area to different places that people might not go to on their own, or they might want to go to with friends. So we have a 14-passenger bus where we're allowed to take about 14 people on trips. We go to the Tulip Festival last year. We went to the Tulip Festival. This last year we went to Malbach's for Christmas and looked at all the cool lights and things like that. But we do get to have fun hanging out together all day. Recently, last week, we went to the Gosenko's Chocolate Factory in Auburn and made our own chocolates. So it's just kind of a fun activity that some of our members had suggested to go there. So I was happy to be able to take them there and enjoy that. Other things that we do is we partner with local businesses. One of the big partnerships that we have, as most of you probably know, is with Catholic Community Services, where they provide a meal program. They provide all the staffing, all of the food, prepare it, clean it up, etc. But that is a big draw for people to come in, people that don't want to cook for themselves or just want to socialize and not drive too far to go out to a restaurant. So they come and have meals, and that service has continued to grow every month. It continues to get more and more people to come in. Other partnerships that we work with are the Celebrate Seniority through Multicare. They come in and do training workshops. Franklin Place Assisted Living Facility comes in. The Linden Grove, formerly Linden Grove, now called Genesis Nursing and Rehabilitation, comes in and does diabetic and glucose checks. But it's a good partnership because they can refer people to us and we can refer people to them for specific needs that they might have as they continue to grow and determine what area they are. But one thing that I'm really excited about, and I made sure I put it in here, is the partnership with the Sumner High School leadership team. They come in once a month, and they bring enough people for however many our members that we have come in, and they sit with them one-on-one and teach them how to use their smartphones or their tablets or the new technology that comes up that, the kids know how to use it way better than we do. And so they take the time and spend as much time as they need with them to help them get up on the technology or the gifts that they get from their kids, et cetera. So that's a real fun program. I'm glad that it's continuing. Where are we going? Our future, we continue to strive to meet the needs of our community members as our community grows and changes. I'm sure you're all aware Sumner's growing and the age population is different depending on where we're at in the community. But we conduct regular member surveys to find out what our members are looking for in the senior center, as well as we place a suggestion box in the front lobby for people that may not want to come and talk verbally. They just want to put something in writing to provide them the opportunity to ask for things that they might need. We do have an open door policy, though, so many of them will just come to me or my assistant and ask for help or ask for, is this program available, et cetera. So as we continue to grow, we continue to look at the needs of what our members are. And one thing that I'm looking forward to this year that I really feel passionately about is our members who are starting to maybe be a little bit more forgetful or need a little bit more help with resources. If you call a place nowadays, you have to push buttons and wait 20 minutes to get to talk to someone, and I found that many of our members are just having a really difficult time with that. And so I'm excited to start programs with volunteers coming in and sitting with them and chatting with them and asking what are their needs, can I help you with anything today, or just visiting with them, maybe taking them to doctor's appointments that are local or other things like that. I'm excited to start that program this year and excited to see what happens with that. And as we continue to grow, we still want to maintain the place that we are, which is a place that's warm, relaxing, and fun for people to come and just hang out and have a cup of coffee.
Well, thank you, Andy. And first of all, for the record, that Councilmember Peterson arrived just as you were starting your presentation. When did you start at the Senior Center in your position?
I started in my position on December 3rd.
That's what I thought. And what was remarkable to me is your knowledge that you have in such a short time and looking to the future to serve, the citizens out there. It's impressive. I'm just
Thank you.
compliment.
Thank you.
Council, do you have any questions or anything? We'll take Patrick and then Earl and then Barb.
Great, thank you. Thank you for doing the presentation. I really enjoy hearing the information about all the things that are happening down there. I did have one question that could maybe follow up with later is in the zip code breakdown, I don't see a 98391, which would be Bonnie Lake, South Prairie.
Oh.
So I was curious if there's a kind of a...
They probably, because our system is a little bit older, are combined with the 98390
Very
zip
possibly.
code.
And that was my
But I
main
can
question
double
on
check
that.
on that for you,
But,
absolutely.
but outside of that, I really appreciate the work that's going on down there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Stewart.
Thank you for the report. It was very informative. I'm curious if you have a statistic about the average age of your members.
Actually, I did look that up today, but I didn't put it in here because I wasn't sure what information you wanted. So the average age of our current membership is 73.
Am I getting close?
Thank you. And this volunteer offering that you're working on, is that something that, I know that there's probably organizations in the community that have youth groups that might be interested in doing something like that. Would they contact you, or do they have to have special clearance?
They would contact me, and they may need special clearance depending on what they're doing with them. If they're driving them in the car, then that may be something that we'd have to work through. But
Yeah, I'm thinking of a group that I'm familiar with that has gone over to Stafford Suites to help with memory books and writing letters and things like that, and the kids love it.
perfect.
And
Yes.
so if that's something that's available, that guy sitting right there can coordinate with a group of youth.
That sounds great to me because that's just sort of my vision, is connecting people together. And
Yeah.
the age gap is a wonderful thing to, I guess, close, if we will.
Exactly, and the kids love it, just like the senior high school kids. I'm sure they really enjoy it.
Yeah, they look forward to it.
Yeah, thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Councilmember
Yeah,
Boteto.
I think my question was similar to Patrick's, and it looks like maybe the second number down might be the 98391, because there isn't a zip
just a
code
little,
with it. So,
The data
The-
didn't come over.
yeah, but anyway, that,
Thank you.
because I would think there would be a draw from people
Quite a
from
few
the hill,
come from the Lake Tapps Pawnee Lake area, absolutely, yes.
which is good to hear. So it's good to hear of so much growth that you've seen over the last few years.
Yeah.
So good job.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Okay, Angie, thank you very much for
Thank
what you're
you
doing
for
out
your
there. We
time.
really appreciate it.
And you guys all know where to find me, I guess. And if
Oh,
you
yeah.
ever want to try a good meal, you should come over at noon.
That's what the city
You're-
administrator says.
You are, it's an open invitation.
Right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to the consent agenda. And Michelle, would you please read the consent agenda?
Item 1, approval of the regular council minutes of January 7th, 2019, and January 14th, 2019 study session. Item 2, approval of the 2019 business claims in the amount of $893,794.26. Claim voucher numbers 102673 through 102811. Item number 3, professional services agreement with Stafford Suites. Item 4, resolution number 1515, Yakima County co-location interlocal agreement. Item 5, Decant Facility, Department of Ecology, WQCFA grant acceptance.
Wow, it's a mouthful. Is any item here that the council would like removed from the consent agenda? Seeing none, could I have a motion to adopt the consent agenda? Deputy Mayor,
I move we adopt the consent agenda as read.
I'll second.
it's been seconded by Councilmember Reed. Any comments anybody has? Okay, if not, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. And the consent agenda is adopted. We'll go on to regular business. There is no unfinished business. So we'll go on to public comment, and we do have a couple people signed up. So before we hear from those people and anybody else, we'd like to hear from the city clerk in terms of what the rules are for citizen comment.
This time is reserved for you to address the mayor and the council on matters of city business that are not on the agenda. It should be remembered that we are engaged in the public's business, and the appropriate level of decorum should be maintained at all times. Only one person may have the floor at a time. This is the time for the mayor and council to hear from citizens, and is not the opportunity to engage council members or the mayor in debate. When recognized by the mayor, please go to the podium, state your name and address for the record. You will have 3 minutes to speak. When the timer sounds, please conclude your comments and return to your seat. If you would like to ask a question, it is best to submit it in writing in order that the mayor, council, or staff may have adequate time to research and provide a complete answer.
Thank you very much, Michelle. First we have signed up is David Meschke. David, would you please come forward?
David Meschke at 901 Sumner Avenue, just right over there. Good morning, good evening, Mayor and Council. I just recently was looking at the city website about a feasibility study for the museum over here, and I would like to discourage that from happening. And it's not because, I just live almost next door to it and maybe some loud drunken wedding party might be annoying. It's already noisy where I'm at anyway, with trains and car traffic blasting through here. So yeah, let's try not to do that. If what's that old famous saying, destroy the museum in order to save it, sort of like that. So anyway, let's not do that.
Okay. Thanks, David. I would, for any questions that you have related to that or clarifications, I would direct you to Carmen Palmer, so you can share your concerns, and also she may have some information, that may either help or not, with what you testified about. Okay. Second, Susan, is it McCammon? Did I get that right? Good. Well, you told me that, but it doesn't register for too long up there, so.
Susan McCammon, 4603 Ridge West, Drive East, Lake Taps. So this is my first city council to come and present something that I love, and a little bit about me. We moved here in '85 and raised our family, and now our grandchildren are graduating from Sumner. So it's pretty special to me to come here to the Sumner City Council first. Then I get to do Milton and Edgewood, if you all have, which happen to be also within the boundaries. So let me tell you what I wanted to present. It's a tool. It's a website. It's called Just Serve, and you should have a card that shows you, and I don't know if I sent all of you the link to it, but I might have emailed some of you. And there's a link. It's pretty cool. Go to that website. And what it does is it's a tool, kind of initiative that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has provided to link volunteers with volunteer opportunities. And so within the church, this it falls on my shoulders to do, what I can to promote this. And so I'm here just to promote Just Serve. So it's a free community service. It's a resource, per se, that anyone, you don't have to be a member of the church, anyone can use this website. And we have opportunities on there like the senior center. We go and help with the bingo night, and we'll talk, Angie, afterwards. But so we provide opportunities like freezing nights and suds and duds and St. Francis House. There's so many opportunities that we have within our community, and we're lucky here. I say we're fortunate here in the Puyallup Valley because there are so many nonprofits and organizations that people have put so much time and effort into putting together something that can help the poor and needy, and then they don't have volunteers to help make it get out there. And so this is a way they can do that. They can go to that website. And so I'm just here not only to promote Just Serve, and there's studies that tell you how good it is to do service. It helps people that are down on themselves. It gives you self-esteem and the feeling that you get when you give service. I've taken my granddaughters, and as a grandma, you see them catch that vision, and it's no longer work. it's fun and they love it. And so I know with myself, I'm busy. I have a business and I wear all these hats. Oh, shoot. And I face inward. But when you turn and face outward, that's when the real magic happens. And what's going on inside doesn't matter so much when you see people that don't have. So what I wanted to promote, not only Just Serve, but I wanted to ask if maybe the city of Sumner would put a hyperlink with Just Serve on there so that people can go to it and immediately have at their fingertips things that they can take their kids to, or something that their youth group can go to. And then one more thing, and I'm just being brave and bold here, is our church just here in the Puyallup area has designated the fifth Saturday, every fifth Saturday, so there's 4 of them, as a service Saturday. So I'm just being bold and seeing if maybe Sumner would adopt that. So, thank you.
Hey, thank you very much. In terms of your first question, linkage, I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to direct you to Carmen, because she's our expert when it comes to our policies regarding those type of things.
Great.
So, hey, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, that's all who signed up. Anybody else out there that would like to address the council on any item that is not on the agenda? Anybody else? Seeing none come forward, we will close public comment and we'll move on to new business. And first item under new business is Agenda Bill 19-014, which is the 2019 DM disposal rates. And I would call on Councilmember Reed for a motion to consider that particular item. Councilmember Reed.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move we adopt resolution number 1516, establishing the annual CPI U-index rate and tipping fee increase for the solid waste collection, recycling, and yard waste.
Okay, can I get a second to that?
I'll second that.
It's been seconded by the Deputy Mayor. Call on Mr. Steffens. Sir.
Good evening. The city's contract with DM Disposal stipulates that rates will be adjusted each year for both the increase in landfill tipping fees, which are the fees that DM pays to use the Pierce County landfill, as well as 80% of CPI for refuse and recycling activities. For 2019, the average increase is 4.3% for residential customers and 4.8% for commercial customers. The public has been provided a 45-day notice of the proposed increase in accordance with state law, and the scheduled rate increase will go into effect on March 1st. Here this evening is District Manager Josh Metcalf from DM to help answer any additional questions.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Jeff. Questions by the City Council. Councilmember Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Jeff, in your write-up, you say 80% of the CPI. What is the CPI? I know what it stands for, but what is the CPI?
Do you remember what the rate was?
100% is 3.08 for the period.
3.08. Okay.
So 80% of that.
Okay. And so the average increase is 4.3.
For residential, yes.
And so 80% of 3.08, but the average increase is 4.3.
Because that is just the CPI increase, and then there's also the tipping fee increase. So there's
Tipping fee.
2 increases that are rolled into that 4.3.
Okay. And so I hope you were cautioned that I was going to ask this question, because I don't
might
want to
have
put
been
you on the
tipped
spot.
off.
I sort of like putting people on the spot, but I hope you had fair warning. Just looking at the can service down on the little attachment here that shows the new rates and the change from the existing rates, there doesn't appear to be a uniform percentage, and I'm curious why.
I'm going to guess, Josh can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's going to be based on weight.
Yes, in effect.
Josh, you want to come up to the microphone?
Perfect.
It was a good try, but no, you didn't escape.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. You know I'm always happy to speak with you.
Yes.
So, Councilmember Stewart, the CPI is applied uniformly throughout the rate base, and the tip fee is applied differently to different service levels, with the heavier burden being attributed or paid to, or borne by, the larger service levels, the larger cans, or the more frequent service levels, as they have more higher level of disposal that accompanies those.
So is it based on the weight that is potentially in the can then?
Yes, yes. The weight, and as a result of being serviced more frequently and in a larger container, yes, it would be the weight.
Okay. I just want to make sure I understand it so I can explain it, number one, to my family, why we're paying a different rate than maybe somebody down the street.
Sure. Yeah, it's so as you look at our different service levels, for instance, the 20-gallon mini cart, as we call it, isn't going to have the same level of disposal associated with it as, say, a 96 or 95-gallon cart, however that may be listed on the rate sheet.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Any other questions? Councilmember Patrick Reed.
Thank you. And I, just for one more time to reiterate for the public, is that this isn't a fee adjustment, or this fee adjustment's already built into the existing contract. It's not something that the city is going back and asking for an additional increase of the citizens. It's something that was anticipated and was actually part of the original agreement that was set up and executed previously.
Correct. This is something we're before you to report on every year, as a result of whatever change in rate at the landfill and whatever change plus or minus in the CPI index. You're welcome.
Other council members? Councilmember Potato.
So you made us more aware about the recycling and the importance of, you said, clean and dry containers. Have you seen an increase of people using recycling, and are they, giving, is the product you're getting, are you able to send that off for, recycling any place?
So I'll answer the first part, the second part first. So we're simply the hauler.
Okay.
We drop off our material at a third-party processor. But every indication in our industry is that we've kind of settled into the new normal. There is still a viable market for recycling.
Okay.
It's at a new normal cost. There are real costs associated with continuing to see the material be viable. I don't know that we've seen an increase. I think those that were motivated to recycle were already recycling and are still recycling. I think what we have seen is a more dedicated effort to do it correctly, knowing that there were such tremors in the programs and in the markets, and really a uncertainty about the future of recycling. So both at the state and local levels as well, there have been an increase in the number of meetings and sort of forward thinking on how we continue to keep these programs sustainable.
And is it the cost to the tipping fee, I guess, that's quite a bit less than the regular garbage, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about 50% of the landfill tip fee. As you may recall, last year when I was before you speaking on this subject, historically, processors had been paid for this material, as there was quite the robust market in China, which no longer exists for this
Right.
material. So really, the rate structure tipped on its head. It went from a profit to a significant loss, so to speak, at roughly about $120 a ton change in the value of this material. And as I stand before you this evening, kind of looking at where we are versus where we were almost a year ago, I think I had mentioned the new normal last year, as I just mentioned a couple of sentences ago. That new normal still exists. We've seen slight fluctuations in the price due to seasonality, but overall, the general climate for recycling has really leveled out, and those costs are now real and really fixed costs in order to continue to see this material move.
Okay, well, good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilmember Reed.
Thank you. I just had a follow-up question on the recycle discussion we had. It was, in that discussion, if I remember correctly, pizza boxes were actually one of the biggest offenders of contaminated
Yes.
material. Is there an actual outreach effort to the pizza franchises and industry to put that liner in? Because I've had a couple of companies that will deliver, or you pick up that has a liner in there, tear it out and it's dry. I was just curious if that's something that...
Councilmember Reed, that's kind of, I mean, maybe, I can't speak intelligently to that, I suppose I would say. You know, I know that certain organizations like the WSRA, the Washington State Recycling Association, the the WRRA, they have various representatives that are reaching out to different manufacturers of packaging and things of that sort, and working long-term on those solutions. In terms of what is kind of on my radar, it's more of the short term, how do we, on a day-to-day basis, continue to see these programs be viable? You're welcome.
Okay. Councilmember Brown.
This is a statement to everybody in Sumner that it looks like the average increase is $1.29 a month
So,
with a 32-gallon can and yard waste.
and I may have done my math a little, I may be a little off, but what I have in my notes is $1.14 a month for the most frequently utilized service level, being a
Right,
32
but then
gallon.
if you add the yard waste, it's 15 cents more.
Which the yard waste is a subscription service, so,
Right.
yeah.
I guess I'm an average household.
Most of us have yard waste. Yeah.
And we're happy that you do.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions?
One more thing with
Yeah,
regard to recycling that I feel responsible to let you know of is Pierce County in January made a decision on changes to the list of acceptable items in the program, in the recycling program. And I kind of spoke on this a little bit last year with regard to what would remain in the stream, what would not. At the time, I really expected drastic changes. However, really that disciplined approach to not making a knee-jerk reaction by the county was prudent, and what they ultimately determined will be removed from the stream effective March 1st, and information will arrive at everyone's home via the county's newsletter and changes to their website, things of that sort. The things that are being removed from the acceptable list are shredded paper, so finely shredded paper, as and you may wonder why. Paper is a viable product. However, when it's shredded and combined with the commingle stream and run through the sorters, it falls directly to the floor and becomes residual waste. Shredded paper in and of itself, if it's all recycled together properly, you know, via different outlets for shred companies, is a viable product. So shred paper is being removed. Refrigerated cartons, so the cartons for juice, the cartons for milk, not the plastic jugs. Anything with a
Right.
neck, a plastic jug, is still a viable product, but refrigerated cartons are being removed, and plant pots. So your heavy-duty black plastic,
Right.
those type of pots. Those are the three items that are being removed from the acceptable items list.
Okay, hey, thank you very much. I've learned over the years that the solid waste business is a very complex business, and I appreciate your explanation to try to get it to a level where it is understandable. So thank you, Josh.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions by the council? Michelle, would you please call the roll?
Hayden?
Yes.
Stewart?
Yes.
Potato?
Yes.
Peterson?
Yes.
Reed?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
And the matter passes. Thank you very much. With that, we'll go on to reports by the city council. Councilmember Botetto.
Well, I'll go back to the recycling. I mean, I just know if many of us saw the program on 60 Minutes about the amount of plastic out in the oceans, and so I just think the more we can do now to put in clean, dry products into our recycling is going to be beneficial. You know, I have maybe 25 or 30 years left, but our children and our grandchildren have many years, and just the amount of plastic in the whole, universe is pretty astonishing. So the more you can do at your own home to help, with the problem, I think is really important. So, thank you.
Yeah, well stated. Thank you. Councilmember Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have nothing tonight.
Councilmember Brown.
Nothing, thank you.
Deputy Mayor Hayden.
Yes, I do. I was driving down Main Street and saw our Public Works guys taking down Christmas decorations, and I thought, what a crappy time of year to have to work outside in the rain and the cold, and with all the storm damage we have. Next time you see a Public Works guy, stop and tell them thank you, because they've done a really good job of keeping Sumner looking good. That's what we have.
Also, if you see parks or cemetery, they're all sort of the same. But, yeah.
And parks and cemeteries, too.
Well stated. Thank you. Councilmember Peterson.
Yes. Wow. Sorry.
Wow. Yeah.
Was that me? Oh, geez. I wanted to talk about attending the youth forum at Sumner High School. I haven't been in several years, and so it was nice to go back and hear what students have to say. It's been going on for over 25 years, which I think is a great commitment by our school district. And it's where kids students, get to share about what they like about their community, what they would like to see changed, and what they would do about it to change it, which is wonderful. And so things that they like about Sumner, or the community they're from, which is usually Bonnie Lake or Sumner, is that it's safe, clean, and they like Sumner's downtown. And the two main issues that we heard over and over were traffic and parking, not unlike their parents, same issues. And what was astonishing to me, and I know this is just like my planner brain, about the holistic view it takes, right? So if we're complaining about traffic and parking, which is essentially the same issue, we're talking about too many people with single occupancy vehicles. And given we live in the area we live in, it's not going to go away unless you really make a commitment to change and carpool and try. So same for the kids, same for the adults. Like, that's what it takes. We don't have room to make more roads, although that was suggested many times as a solution, which I thought was great. And then to just commend, again, the school district. This year in particular, they made sure to take a cross-section of all of their students and making sure that everyone's voices were heard. And I really appreciate, again, that they went to that extra effort to make sure that all students were allowed to be heard. So, yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Councilmember Reed.
Thank you. It's matter of fact, I think she said a lot of the many things I was going to say. I had the honor of being one of the moderators at the youth forum as well, and I really enjoyed the experience. It was my second opportunity to do that, and you hear from the kids directly what they're thinking. Some of them more filtered than others. A couple of the other things that I heard, in addition to streets and traffic, it was that the students, the local students, are actually looking for more entertainment options or activity options here in Sumner, like a theater. That came up 3 times, that people want a theater, and just other things to do. Somebody mentioned a skating rink, an additional one. But it was a really fun experience, and thank you to everybody that put it on, and for all the kids that participated.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Reed. City Administrator Report, Mr. Galley. Yes, it is.
Sorry, a notice went out to council earlier today. Because of the short week, packets will not be out tomorrow. They will be going out on Thursday. So anyone in the public is looking for those, we will get them out on Thursday.
Okay. That's it?
That's it.
Wow, okay. Just a couple things. Sumner University. It's that time of year, okay? Returns this year and will consist this time of sort of behind the scenes at places people don't normally get to, the shops, the treatment plant, cemetery, etc. So, you can get the details. Just go online to our website, sumnerwa.gov, and sign up for free. It doesn't cost you anything. It's highly entertaining and educational. And you can sign up for as many tours as you would like. That, and then it is legislative time. Made 2 trips so far down to Ole Town. And the first one was to the House Appropriations hearing on the governor's budget, and the second one was the Senate Ways and Means Committee on the governor's budget. And it's sort of scary when you go in there and they say we have 80 to 83 people signed up. And you're going, where do you fall on that list? And we were testifying, it was the mayors of, one day it was Tukwila, Kent, and us, and then the second day it was Auburn, Kent, and us talking about streamlined sales tax mitigation funding, which for us amounts to $425,000 per year, which is not included in the governor's budget. So the good news is that they gave us some courtesy, recognizing that we had to come back to council meetings, and actually got us ahead of all the rest of the people that testify. But there's a lot going on down there. And when you have 80 people testifying on any number of issues, bless those people that are up there listening and having to filter through all things. So we'll continue working with our own delegation and with our lobbyists, trying to get that funding, as well as, I think, what is it, next week? Carmen, is that right? We're back in Olympia and meeting with our legislators about our legislative priorities, which include the 410 interchanges, and the next priority for us being 166 interchange, and other issues on our legislative agenda. So it'll be interesting to see how it all turns out. Anyway, that's all I have. Executive session, we have none tonight, is that correct?
That is correct.
That is good news. Okay. And that takes us to the last item on the agenda, which is adjournment. And we are adjourned.
With emphasis.